I can see that slide is available now. Yep. Okay, so I will not say more as I used to be. Ra- That's what even I was not planning. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm also buying time till my co-speaker comes in, right? So let's do that. So how many of you are aware of experiential learning? Yes.
So it's like by engaging more with the participants, by doing the activities, workshops, kind of thing, and learning out of it.
You can't answer right answer on the first. Okay. Anyone else want to say something? Have you experienced or have you been part of this? Any one of you earlier? You learn by doing. That's really nice. And here I find my co-speaker now. I already had my coffee. And and sorry, you guys are not having coffee, but somewhere we have a coffee in our title, right? So we need to have coffee in our hand. Okay. So we're gonna start. Rahul, you might want to get, yeah.
Hello.
At least, but it has coffee inside. Okay. Cheers. I don't know, no, none of them does this, but we want to do that. Yes, cheers for all of you for being here as a participants, and cheers for this conference. And let's start. Uh, how many of you think there is a relation between data and coffee here in the title? It's okay to be honest.
A lot.
Wow, that's nice. We need something to join the data and the cheers. Okay, we needed something to join the data and the cheers, so yeah. Anything else? I see full house. I was telling you, let's have a title which has a coffee, we get a full house. And that's what?
Come on, that was not the story. So the history of coffee has been from good long time. It started 1700 and started somewhere in Ethiopia, and then it started a journey in Arabia, Europe, transited us, and then it took us to aspect of where we are today, filter coffee. Yeah. So coffee has how many?
So today, predominantly there are 30 types of coffee. And I'm not talking about flavors within the coffee. Predominantly there are 30 types of coffee. And when we look at the history of the coffee, data plays a lot of important role in that. The way it has been evolved, and all the flavors what you see, right? There are around 150 plus flavors in this 30 coffees, and they are growing. A lot of startups, they're having healthy coffee kind of things also, right? So data plays a very important role in any product to scale to a next level, and that's how relation is with coffee for us. Also, both of us are coffee lovers, so let's look at it.
Yeah, as you said, both of us are coffee lover, and I like to have always a conversation on a coffee with friends, family, and with colleagues whenever there is an opportunity. So that's me. I am a Puneite, been working in Pune for a good long time. That's my family, me, wife, and my daughter. I am trying my hands on mobile photography, and that's couple of pictures which I was able to capture, and that was not me doing a selfie, that was someone else helped me out with that. So that's me, overall 20 years of experience into IT field, and some areas which I am focused upon is coaching, pairing, training, and mentoring. So that's me, and coffee plays another important role.
There's a lot of connection between us doing this, because we were having a discussion on coffee, that what we should do together, and we both understood there's a lot of coffee business between us. So here it starts. For me, coffee, friends, works like a fuel all the time. You get bored with all of your friends, have a coffee, it works a lot. So that's in the middle. Then there's a backbone, my wife and my two kids. They are stress buster for me, office work, you all know. Evening we meet them and things are fine. And then, if you see topmost, I'm a pakka punekari and I'm a foodie. Missile. Any day, anytime anyone would ask me, I will go for it. Right? And I know best of the joints of missile in the Pune. Right? I'm also Pune, and I love riding at times. Right now that bike is not with me, but yeah, that is only the photograph I have. And total 16 years of experience, mostly around product engineering is what I love to do it. Everything and anything around engineering is what my passion. DevOps and Agile is where I'm a practitioner and love to do my hands-on with that. So that's how we are connected.
Oh, that's a good time. So chai and coffee time. How many of had a coffee and chai? None of?
After this session.
After this session, okay, not prior to this session.
Let me put it in this way. Yesterday, how many of you and what kind of experience you had yesterday? How many of you had chai and how many of you had coffee? Chai wale? Both. Wow, that's nice. Uska nahi hai mere paas analysis. But chai, yes, and coffee. Okay, nice. So there is around, we have 40-45 people around. Now one glitch has happened. My laptop is there, and we have to show some analysis. But I think so it's okay, Rahul.
Let me give it a try.
Okay, give it a try. So what we did yesterday is we had an experience of seeing there's a lot of hiccups, right? Chai wale log what time wait kar rahe the. Did that happen?
Yes.
Right? And then there was also cups which were here and there, right? So yesterday, actual PPT and data was different, but yesterday when we look at this situation, we saw let's do something with the data. Let's try to understand where and what has happened, which will help us understand or make the situation better today. So there was some data which we actually looked at it yesterday and processed that, and if he's able to put that up good. If not, I'm going to tell you I'm going ahead, Rahul, now, till you fix it. So yesterday when we checked, there was 150 and 150 calculation done by hotel to have 150 coffee and 150 chai. Did that really work yesterday? At least chai people did that. You had that experience, seamless experience. When you got the chai happened in the morning, probably no, right?
You may need to, walk to that place and unlock your laptop. So I will continue on the conversation. So the point of perspective was that people had coffee and chai, right, yesterday, and with our session shifting from yesterday till today, hope everybody were aware that our session has shifted. So we said, okay, why not try to drill down and take this session to something which we actually are feeling the heat. And feeling the heat was that being a volunteer, we got to know that there were problems. And we always look for feedback. And those feedback is what? We got it from chai and coffee. So we said, why not look from that perspective and try to fix that as something which we can take it to the current session. So from yesterday till today, we have this data. So you said, how many people had tea on an average? 12-ish? Yeah, probably. Okay, that's 12-ish. If you can update that 12-ish, that's how I work. So, and then how many of you had coffee around this? That's big number. Let's go with 20 only. That works. So you can think that yesterday when we planned all of this, we went back to hotel and said, okay, folks, you have planned 100 teas when they're planning for it and 200 coffees. And what has happened is that you got to serve 90 teas and your coffee number was around 150. What do you see from this data? Sorry? Lower turnout, waste, right? So this is a problem statement which we foresee, right? And when you foresee this problem statement, how do you foresee this problem statement? By data visualization, right? You are able to visualize this data. From yesterday till today, if we relook into the numbers, we went back, had a conversation and asked what was the situation today in morning, and probably the numbers were, Dhiren, if you can put down the numbers. So something around this where, sorry, you are trying to say something, Dhiren?
What we wanted to show was when we looked at the data yesterday, and we have this graph which you all see. We wanted to have an outcome today. The outcome where you have a seamless experience. We wanted to have a seamless experience of you going and having tea and coffee without waiting or getting any kind of hiccups. So when we actually looked at this data, the outcome what you guys probably had a better experience. Did you guys have a better experience this morning? Loudly, please. Yes. So that's the result of we working. And we're going to actually helping you out today with telling you what kind of data processing we have done, which has brought in a better experience today, right? So looking at this, do you think the problem is getting resolved only looking at this data, what you see on the graph? What do you do in our real life when we look at velocity, burn down chart? Does it helps?
Looking at the data, does that help you to solve the problem? Okay, good to
No?
know.
Okay. So let's say we take yesterday's example when you look at this, right? Though this now it's not helping as a logistic, but yesterday data I will tell you what it was. So chai was expected to be 150, which actually gone around 170 plus. Coffee was supposed to be 150, it actually went around 110. So that was what we got to know, right? Extrapolated some information. So only now looking at data, what do you think? What kind of outcome you can bring in? More tea lovers, yes. Yes. So one of the data what you looked at is it's a visualization, right? First thing we all do, we visualize the data and look at it. Once you visualize the data, you probably try to understand what is the trend. Is this what we do in real life, right? When we are talking about this, you have to go back and try to see what charts and everything you are doing. Only visualization is
So
not
if I
the-
may add,
Yes.
if I may add, so there are two questions which normally we ask ourselves when we visualize the data. What has happened? If you had this data yesterday, you would ask yourself and to the folks what has happened and how it has happened, because both of the perspective is going to help you visualize the data from what it needs to be. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
Fair enough. So all the questions what he said is the primary questions what we asked. Then further by only this asking this question is not going to give you insight which going to make your decision. Right? Most of the time we understand the trend looking at that. It doesn't help you to make the decisions. Right? It's going to tell you the trend. So there are the parts where you have to go further and try to understand what kind of questions you would be asking. The next questions would you be asking would be is, why did that happen? Why yesterday we happened to a situation, what it would happen, and what are the factors which led to that situation, right? These were the two questions. So yesterday when we went in the evening and had a discussion with a few of the volunteers and the facility people. So we understood, you said there are a lot of child lovers, someone said, right? So we understood there was no preferences which was taken, and there was no pre-benchmark done with any one of them. So why did it happen? Because they took some ballpark figure and they had 150, 150. There was no preferences which was really there to understand, right? And based on that, we actually infer further what were the other things. So other things which came out into discussion was very interesting. Chai has to be actually go to a kitchen, boil it up, get it over here and serve it. That was one of the things.
Probably your mic is not working once again. Something is happening with the data.
Oh, okay, leaking. Fair enough. So one thing we understood, chai has to be boiled at kitchen, get it back over here and served. While with the coffee, you need to have an hot water and milk and then just serve it out, right? So chai had a lot of iteration, which took time. Another very interesting thing we found was the cups were not available. The wash cups, right? And it was taking a lot of time. So these were the two things. Like this. So these were the two interesting things which we found when we understood what are the factors which has led to that situation. And once we did that, what did you found further?
So I did ask that question, what we should do to take things ahead. So, sorry. What we should do to, so this room has a jink. We are trying to find it out, who is that booth, which is roaming around. From yesterday we are struggling to find it out. and we have complained this to hotel that what is happening in this room. So all of this we are going to do as a next case study. So, what I was trying to ask you all is the question which when we looked into the data, we asked, what should we do differently today? What is that which is going to help us to achieve the necessary outcome today? Is that what we asked? And when we asked that question, we had certain insights. That insights help us to make those decisions which we implemented today. And that implementation is what helped us to give you a better outcome. You all raised hand saying that yes, we had a better feedback. We had a better feedback. You all raised hand to say that you had a better experience today as well. So that's something which has happened from yesterday till today. From yesterday to today, we change our perspective in terms of how we should take this session as well, because we had a problem statement in front of us.
Yes. So when we came to a step of understanding there would be a possible challenges tomorrow, right? Because we had seen that happening yesterday. There were factors which has come in. So we tried to have some actions based on the insight. The actions were to that we have a 2 shift of boiling tea which would be replaced when there is a 70% cap. And similarly we looked at the cups. Moment they are 70% off the shell, they have to get the new cups. And probably at least morning when we were observing, that was a good experience which had come. So we went into an actionable mode with the recommendation to the facility.
Hotel, yeah.
Hotel. So this is what process happened. Hopefully it repeats a good experience post this session also, and probably you will understand there's a lot of big theory which we are talking about has worked well, right? And sorry for the hiccups, which we did real time from yesterday to this for the content. So what was the theory which has really come back? And
The
we are
theory.
referring to?
So that's one of the key aspect what we always try to debate upon, that are our foundations good? And that's where we want to take you back our foundations. And the theory what we want to bring back to you is D2P2.
Did you say D2P2?
That's what.
Okay, it is actually D square P square. It's not D2P2.
I did not agree on that.
D2P2 doesn't sound really good, right?
I
It
did
is a
not
D
agree
square,
on
P
that,
square.
Dhiren.
Okay, fair enough. We'll check with the audience at the end what the name has to be. So this is the framework, guys, and let's make it a bit serious now. It's not a stand-up comedy. So, these are the 4 things, and these are very fundamental things, right? All humans and everyone goes through these phases. If you look at this and if you look at any kind of your real-time problem statement, you're gonna do this. You would be doing this. But when it comes to our professional life, we only stick to the first. Is a descriptive analytics. And you're gonna help me over here. What do you do when you look at your trends? Let's say velocity dekha hai. Average velocity is 40. It got dipped to 30, 25. What happens? What do you do?
What is the first thing which comes to your mind? Velocity? What is the metrics which most of people here have seen? Let's go with that. Velocity. Okay, so now velocity we agree.
So when I'm talking about the graph. When you look at this in your rule, right? My velocity is dipping. What is the thing you do? What is the action you take?
Try to see why the velocity, get data on why the velocity is dipping.
Someone said something? Look for the contributor of dip, or look for the factors for dip. Okay, fair enough. Capacity planning, fair enough.
At times also check for the competency, like why was there any lag in terms of achieving that target?
Yes, competency and all. So what we did in actual real time was, we looked at the descriptive analysis which talks about the trends. So you look at the trends, there is a dip into the trend, right? And then you did not really stop to build the insights. If you're stopping to build the insights there, something answer would come is team kaam nahi kar rahi hai. Let's go and ask ki kya ho raha hai, right? That kind of things will come.
So kind of 2 questions what we started upon.
Yes.
What is happening in the situation and how it is happening in the situation. So
Fair enough.
taking you back to the foundation is really important. These are really powerful questions when you look at any data to have descriptive analytics.
And when we infer further, right, when we asked, you said, why there is a dip into velocity, and what are the factors which are contributing to the dip in the velocity, right? You guys said. So that phase goes into the diagnostic analysis, where we do the diagnostics or diagnosis of our data. Why that data is been seen in this way, why this trend is there, and what are the factors which are contributing to this kind of trends. So there is the second part of processing or inferring data, which is diagnostic analysis.
And the third part is more on predictive. So when you talk about predictive, one of the key asks which when we looked into the coffee problem, chai coffee problem, was what we can do today when we looked the problem yesterday. So how to define or how to work for the future. So predictive is going to help you to look for the future. What are the actions which you can think of? So you need to have all the right set of people, processes, data to make sure that you are able to do a predictive analysis.
There's a very important piece of this, majorly for me also, when we actually started learning this and practicing this, was we stopped there at the diagnosis. Root of cause analysis, most of you do, right? Root cause analysis kiya, 5i kiya, fishbone kiya, output mil gaya, and we are stopped there, right? We do not really move ahead to the predictive analysis of actually predicting, will this situation happen? Will this situation happen, right? And we actually are in so much of speed, we stop there, we have some solution and we move ahead. That's not where we have to stop. And that's the reason we are talking about how you have to process data further. So predictive analytics is a very important step for you post you do the diagnostics, which is root cause analysis, comparative thing or correlation analysis. Go to a predictive analysis where you identify will this occur, and if that occurs, what needs to be done. Once you do that, let's say you now get into zone velocity, might again get into this because of the curse. What you would gonna do that? Self-explanatory, prescriptive. डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो फाइनली क्या मिलता है?
Prescription.
Prescription. So you are your own doctor of the problems what you are facing in your system. So you're going to have something which is called as a prescriptive analysis. What it is? What we did with the chai thing, chai and coffee thing, what we told to the facility people? 2 boilers has to be ready and 70% cut off, right? So that is a recommendation which is in the actionable form, which has to be given to have a right actions to be done. And this cycle keeps on moving. Because there would be, once you do that, there would be a model validation. And there would be again a data visualization what will happen for you. And then you keep on doing this. So this cycle will keep on happening. But the insights what you're going to build on any kind of data would be very high. We mostly, and probably you can share your thoughts, we mostly stop at the second phase, which is diagnostic analysis. Or you guys do it further. How you're doing now?
Any thoughts?
Entire cycle, that's real nice.
That's really good. Any thoughts? Do we really
Till diagnostic.
till like
Anyone has some other thoughts? I mean, you can share your experience. We're going to give you now a case study, so that's the reason.
In some scenarios, we miss the predictive analytics. We move from descriptive diagnostic to prescriptive direction.
Okay.
Or this happened, next time this happens, go there without understanding what could be the situation which could happen.
So we go from root causes directly to the action. That's the reason I was saying this step in between is very important of the predictive analysis, right? Fair enough.
One good thing which I heard in the conversation overall was, which Dhiren brought in, was it's a model. Everywhere today, if you go, we have seen our AI track has been fully booked, overbooked, sitting down. And one of the key aspects which came out was fundamental models has to be built upon. Everybody is focusing on building those fundamental models, and that's one of the key focus area we wanted to bring in with this session, was to help you visualize and understand the model. Because if you all of are in this thought process of D2P2 or D square, P square, whatever is the word going to be, then we are going to help you see how you can take this to the next level of your journey into getting into the next world which is waiting for us, artificial intelligence.
So you gotta take any example, be it very basic prompt you're doing, or the analysis you would be doing. Out of 8, these are the 4 models behind the scene which are operating right now. The whole idea here is to also tell you that how data is or how insight is building from the algorithms is how you understand it. Also work with it, adapt with it, right? So that's whole idea. We move ahead and just have a quick definitions around it.
So we started with 2 questions or 3 questions. What happened in current situation? How did it happen in descriptive analytics? Two key areas: data collection, data cleaning and preparation, visualization, statistical analysis, trend analysis. These are the more of steps which you would be driving in terms of getting the data visualization or data descriptive analytics. Then we have diagnostic.
It's a very pretty straightforward. We are very good by doing diagnosis, right? We are very good by doing root cause analysis. Two things what we used actually yesterday, and it comes with very practical thing what we did. One was understand the root cause analysis. We understood why it happened, what it happened, right? And then we had the second thing, correlation analysis. That two things we did as a step, right? And then we got last thing working for us is cost functional. We had volunteers, we had facility, we had hotel management, we came together and actually started working on it to build the solution.
Cause and effect is an important aspect which we want to help you visualize, that every cause would have an effect around it, and that has to be understood in this scope.
Yeah.
Predictive analytics, we are going to ask what likely is going to happen in future, because that's what we asked yesterday, not today. The session was today, but we asked that question yesterday looking at the data. What is going to likely is going to happen in future? Today, what is going to happen and how we can anticipate and prepare for the potential outcomes. That was nearly necessary for all of us to give you a better experience. Every end of the day, we retrospect and understand and try to act upon it. There are steps in this space. We do time series analysis, regression analysis, scenario analysis, model validation. In yesterday's situation, we did scenario analysis where we did explore different scenarios, like what would happen if the number goes down, if the number goes up, how it has to be looked into, and what are the potential impact for the better performance around it.
Yep. And morning we did model validation, what we are prescribing to the hotel, right? So that is the first phase, and that would be an iterative approach to that the model what we are prescribing would be working fine. And the final thing, actionable insights. So we had some actions for the hotel, it has worked. And then there is a continuous monitoring and feedback. Morning we were doing monitoring and feedback, and then there's a change management. So if you had seen yesterday, there were not hotel facilities standing there. And at the rooms, there was a lot of chaos. We had actually had the change management brought in hotel, people standing everywhere, facilities standing everywhere, which will help us to improve the whole situation. So this was 4 steps what we actually did for yesterday's situation to improve. Now we're gonna quickly have.
Yeah, let's brew the data.
So we all are very self-organized, what we understand. We do not have round tables. But in a batch of 10 and 15, we're gonna give you some papers, and you as a group has to look at that use case and problem statement and try to apply 4 of these techniques. All good? And it has all the information, all the PPT, and many of you have taken the screenshots or photographs, so you have that. Any questions till now? Very straight, yeah.
Different from PDCA perspective. So there is one cycle at PDCA. What is new in this D2P square? I'm just finding to be a new name between you two. D2P square.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So thanks for the D2P square. What is different? That's a complete action cycle what you see in PDCA. This is more on the only building insights and inferring from that, where the action comes at the last. So can you use both the models together? Yes. But this is definitely, this is something to look at only data, infer the data, and build the insights on the data. 3 steps around that. And then final one is to have the actions around it. So that is what we are trying to build. Also, if you see when we are trying to relate with the algorithms what we'll have, right? So be it the analysis algorithm which will come in, or the current prompts, or the chat GPT for an example, how they are working, how they are learning, this has some basis of it. So we are trying to correlate what would happen and what is there right now. But there's majorly implementation wise no difference. That is more actionable. This is more on the inferring the insights.
So looking at a time constraint, if we would like you to practice D2P2,
Yeah.
not D square P square for sure. So D2P2, I would request you to realign yourself. I'm going to give you each a group a sheet, and we would like you to implement it. Just rearrange yourself. We have 15-20 sheets. So you can, whatever numbers which can be arranged here, then you can play around. So the first sheet has the data point. Just try to rearrange. We have 15 sheets. If you can just regroup yourself. It's a kind of a case study. Yeah. And we have 15 minutes left, so we'll do this for probably 10 minutes. Anyone who has not received a paper for case study? Paper for the case study? Yeah. Sorry. You need two. Probably you can form two groups. Here. Take a paper so that you can read it. You need one? Thank you. Are we good? We have 10 minutes to do the activity. Okay, let me quickly tell you on the first page, if you can just hear me for a minute. If you can hear me for a minute, on the first page you have all the information what we have shown on the slide. So it helps you out. Second page we have posted down a problem statement. Can someone read that problem statement for me? Once again, we want to have an improvement in our conference. So we had an expectation that we would have a gender diversity in a conference by 50-50. We had an planned 150 females, 150 males joining us, but the actual data shows that we had only 123 females joining in and 177 males joining us. So we want to give you this as a problem using D2P2 model. Can you help us? What should conference do to achieve this target for the next conference? Sounds good? 10 minutes you have. Everybody has been using this model for a good long time. Get back to fundamentals. You can use pencils or anything which you would like to. Let's hear it out. Folks, please get settled down. There are few teams who have received, has got the solution. Okay, one more minute from Dhiren. So I think the time is up. The team who has already got the solution, I will request one of them to share that with us. Can I request to get settled, folks? Please change your chairs and look in front. Look in front, last team. Yeah. Okay, here you
Hello.
go. So this is first team who is going to come and share across the.
10 minutes, very difficult to get the solution. Whole idea is that we go through that 4 steps.
So, okay. So
Can we have attention, guys? Thank you.
we looked at the data and we asked ourselves the questions, why did this happen, why it could have happened, because the when and all is pretty clear. So what we came up with as part of our diagnosis is there could be certain constraints that is making this happen, could be travel arrangements, could be the timing of the event, or also that it's a long weekend, the summer holidays for schools have started, so maybe that's why. While we were doing this, we also
So
thought
if I may ask you, so which D it was, descriptive or diagnostic?
this was diagnostic.
Superb. I want you to all to take you back to the fundamentals, and that's the reason I am asking you that question.
Yeah.
Yes. Please go ahead.
So we read the first page that you gave us, and
Superb. Who can take us to the next two P's? Anyone who has next two P's? Yeah, Yogesh, please.
A bit on diagnostic again. I completely agree what gentleman mentioned. But just to on and add, those summer vacations are there, but this is in April, right? So schools are still going on. So probably that's one of the point where lower turnout for the female candidates, right? And also Friday, working day, definitely for the working women. So for the predictive ones, yes, how we can improve these numbers. So one is, if we talk about the Friday, we can move it to the different weekends only. That could be that could increase the numbers. Otherwise, if we are talking about the schools, for the toddlers, still the play groups, definitely. If we can have some arrangement to handle the children, right, to play areas and all, so definitely that can be improve the numbers. Otherwise, the location of this hotel, right? If we move this location of the event toward the center of the city, probably that can reduce the commute challenges which one can have, right? So even though I'm taking my case again, I'm traveling for 1.5 hours towards from Wakar. So sometimes, even today morning, I was like, should I go? But still, okay, I'm here. But that could be the one of the factor that could be, right? And to improve the presence again, kind of some to motivate themselves as well, though some discount coupons probably for the good brand.
Thanks a lot. I think one of the key aspects
we
we did implemented for Women's Day, and it worked well for us. So
yeah,
probably we were in that future mode that we want to bring them in. Thanks a lot, team, and I hope everybody. Sorry, because of the time constraint, we may not be able to allow you.
Few of the points my friend has already covered, but in the prescriptive, what we come up is like we should not plan this kind of conferences during festive time. Then we should start communicating this actual date of the conference as well as the count that we are focusing. So that is one. Then the third point that we came up with is we should have some leadership motivation. Like a female leader should be motivating the other leadership and the other women's to communicate. Yes.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for sharing that insights. Now, one of the key reasons why we wanted you to give a thought around this, this is quite a simple problem to look at, right? But when we take to the overall model, it helps you to bring different perspectives and gives you those pauses that, okay, hey, we are looking at we are visualizing it, then we are diagnosing it, then we are creating a predictive aspect of it, and then we are prescribing how we are going to take you the next journey. So on the similar thoughts, we had, once again, Dhiren, do you have a mic or you want me to?
I'm going to shout.
Okay, you.
I'm audible, right? Yeah. So this will be also taken into consideration for next conference. One important point is we are trying to record what you have said. They are very important points which we're going to actually take into consideration for next conference. We still have the vision of having a good diversity for next conference. So thank you for all the inputs. Thank you for working on it. Have a round of applause for yourself equally. Okay, fine. I'm going to show you very quickly a program developed this afternoon for us, very quickly, by getting inspired in the morning session by IS officer on the healthcare. So we changed this from gender to something else. And I'm going to tell you how easy it is for me to get something very trained. This is the diabetic information we had taken, a sample 10 records I had taken up, and how visualization is happening. I'm going to, in lieu of time, run only the first program, and then you're going to see how visualization is coming up. It's a bit difficult, but I'm going to tell you what is happening over here. The data had, and it's very pretty simple, no logic into this, but the model, how it works. It has actually helped me understand out of that 15 records, how many have diabetic, non-diabetic. It's just reading here. It's just giving you an data visualization and giving it the range, also giving you mean and median over here, right? And I have 5-6 programs more, but in lieu of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come ahead. So I've been using, what I'm using, I'm going to also tell that. So I'm using an open source models, right, and a very basic Python, which has been used. Going ahead, there would be an programs, algorithm and models where you have to prompt it rightly. Once you do that, you have all the analysis with you. Whole idea and our try was to help you understand what is working behind the scenes. How you have to actually infer the data, how you have to actually build the insights on the data. It's going to be a data and it's going to be journey, everything around data, right? So that is going to happen. And this Hugging Face, probably all of you, if you're aware, I had used that one of the model to create these charts, right? It's pretty easy for you to learn and do more things around it. So models are gonna actually give you a lot of insights and they're gonna do your job. Your thing would be to have a very good prompt engineering, understand how models are working, infer the insights out of that model and use for your productivity, for your effectiveness, for your efficiency, and key, right decision making on data, not on the feelings which we do today, right?
Right. So one of the key aspect which we wanted to bring you is that are you ready for the next things which are going to come in, right? 2 rooms next to this, we are running AI sessions, intelligence sessions, and we wanted you to give a thought that if you are good with your fundamentals, you would be able to understand what kind of models are working behind the scene. Yeah. So that's large language models are something which are being trained by human, not by anyone else. It's the data which is going to be looked into, understood. We are going to write down some scripts which are going to help us learn, and further it is going to grow upon it. But having those fundamentals is going to take you to the next level. And that's precisely what one of the key intent of today's conversation was. So I hope everybody has now understood what D2P2 is.
Sorry, it is still not D2P2. I want to vote on this.
Oh, you want to vote for
this? You can't just enter us and get it voted.
I'm telling you.
Let's have a vote. Let's have a D square, P square, D2, P2, and I think so this gentleman has given D2, P square. Let's have a vote. We'll go with this first group. What name you would like to have for this framework? It would be made by all of us. This framework is not available on Google. You can go and Google it. D2P2. D2P2. Here? Oh, that's a tie now.
This is never going to get resolved.
Okay, so what we have finally? D2P2. D square, P square. Let's go with this gentleman. D2, P square. Yeah? And we're good with the time?
Yeah, I think we are good with the time.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks a lot,
for the
folks.
participation. Have a good coffee, have a good experience. If you don't have it, come back and let us know. Okay, there is also felicitation for us, so please have.
खुद का felicitation कैसे भूल सकते हैं लोग? That's a bit surprising for me, but still. And yes, please go through the slide. There is a QR code available for Rahul and Dhiren. And
one more thing, if you guys would like to learn more on models, more on training models and things, you can scan last, join us, and then we can connect further, and then we can work it out and learn together.
woo! Wow, what a great session. Yeah, sir.